take you on a journey exploring some of the creative minds of our nation? How about one fueled by a renewed sense of much better things to come for our Jamaican future? It's Friday, so I suspect that your plans are for a little more relaxed adventure, and today's show checked that box quite well. There's a quick trip downtown to please your visual senses and a stimulating visit to a steam maker. You'll love the future our Jamaicans are creating through the lens of today's show. So welcome to Jamaica Magazine. I'm Audrey Williams. After the news, I'll share all those details.
It's the 11th staging of the JIS Heritage Competition. Students, show your national pride by entering the essay, poster and photo competition. Primary school students, enter the essay competition. Triumphant, proud and free. Use this phrase from the song Jamaica Land of Beauty to explain our nation's heritage and achievements. High school students, design a poster that best portrays the phrase triumphant, proud and free. And university students, capture a photo that depicts the phrase triumphant, proud and free. Haven't sent in your entries yet? There's still time. The competition has been extended to November 7. Visit jis.gov.jm for guidelines. Triumphant, proud and free. The JIS Heritage Competition 2021.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Friday, November 5, 2021. Persons found guilty of human trafficking will soon be facing tougher penalties after Parliament passed the Trafficking in Persons Prevention, Suppression and Punishment Amendment Act 2021 on Wednesday. The legislation has been amended to remove the option of fines in lieu of custodial sentences as a penalty for certain offences that are egregious in nature. It also increases the monetary penalties under Section 15 of the Act and requires amendment to Section 10 of the Child Care and Protection Act to remove the option of fine in lieu of custodial sentence. National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang says government is creating a legal framework that punishes human trafficking while deterring persons from getting involved in the criminal activity.
We are hoping that by presenting a legal framework in which the punishment is such that it deters the average from getting involved. We are accepting the recommendation that this should also apply to directors of companies who may have connived in allowing such activity to take place in the corporate body for which they represent, so that all who are getting directly involved in anything to do with trafficking and punishment will be subject to severe penalties.
Minister Chang says police officers are being trained in this area, and the bill will now provide all relevant authorities with the tools required to prevent any further expansion of the crime. The Private Security Regulation Authority, PSRA, is providing more avenues for the registration of security personnel and companies island-wide. To support that, the authority received a new mobile registration unit, MRU, from Toyota Jamaica Limited on Thursday. The unit, which has been retrofitted with 2 meeting areas, document storage, and bathroom facilities, will facilitate security personnel registration and renewal on site. Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of National Security, Senator Matthew Samuda, says this will help the PSRA's efforts to bring individuals in the private security industry into full compliance with government standards and regulations.
Beyond the greater regulatory compliance, these measures also serve to ensure the PSRA can pursue its essential function in the era of COVID while itself complying with COVID response measures. Pre-pandemic, security guards registering with the authority would have had to congregate at the organization's offices in greater numbers than are acceptable under present circumstances.
The PSRA is also facilitating 24-hour access to its virtual license renewal services, which can be accessed at psra.gov.jm. The authority has also expanded its business operations with the opening of offices in Montego Bay and the refurbishing and reorganization of its Kingston offices. Government is exploring a possible private-public partnership PPP arrangement for the upgrading of the Lionel Densham Aerodrome in Treasure Beach, St. Elizabeth. Discussions around a reverse PPP were held this week with Transport and Mining Minister Robert Montague, the Airports Authority of Jamaica, and the owner of Jake's Holdings Limited, Jason Hensel. The aerodrome is currently owned and operated by Jake's Holdings Limited, and the proposal is for it to be acquired and developed by the government to improve air connectivity in the South Coast. Upgrades to Lionel Densham would then include the expansion of the runway from its current 2,300 feet to 3,200 feet to facilitate larger aircraft. In addition, the surface would be upgraded from compacted marl to asphalt, a welcome center constructed, the entire property fenced, and the access road rehabilitated. The Lionel Densham Aerodrome is the only air transportation option at present for tourists or visitors wishing to visit the Greater Treasure Beach Resort area. It is projected that ready access to safe and reliable air transportation to the area would boost visitor arrivals and reduce the lengthy road travel, which is a big disincentive for tourists and visitors. Persons with an interest in the field of development and community interventions are being invited to register for the Symposium on Best Practices for Social and Community Renewal. This is scheduled for November 10 at 9 a.m. and is being hosted by the Planning Institute of Jamaica Community Renewal Program, PIOJ-CRP, and its partners. Registration can be done online using the social media pages and websites of the event partners. Persons can also email bestpractice@pioj.gov.jm or register directly at the event website piojbestpracticessymposium.com. Program Director of the PIOJ's Community Renewal Program, Charles Clayton, says the focus is to provide models that can be utilized by other people who are initiating interventions in community spaces and to see how they can work in a collaborative way to be more effective.
So what we really want to do this year is to demonstrate that unless we pull the pieces together in a holistic and cohesive way, community development cannot succeed. And so we hope at the end of this symposium, other agencies who are not yet on board will come on board and recognize that we have to work together along common thematic areas and in common community spaces, and working to put the pieces together in a sequential and collaborative way if we really want to succeed in community development.
Mr. Clayton was speaking at a recent JIS think tank. The Symposium on Best Practices for Social and Community Renewal will be held under the theme Linking the Pieces, a holistic approach to community renewal. It will include local and overseas guest speakers who will discuss topics such as community renewal projects and innovative funding. The event will also be broadcast live on the Public Broadcasting Corporation of Jamaica, PBCJ, cable channel, or on YouTube at PBC Jamaica. And finally, Jamaica, Mexico, and Japan are working on a study of the sunken city of Port Royal. Culture Minister Olivia Grange says the project reflects a historic collaboration between the three countries and will benefit Jamaica's heritage tourism product. She says the Heritage Impact Assessment will take place in 3 phases, with the first phase to include the photogrammetry, which is taking detailed photographs of the underwater city. The second phase will involve a team of underwater archaeologists from Japan, Canada, Mexico, and the Netherlands, who are also expected to further train the Jamaica National Heritage Trust team. Phase 3 will include the preparation of the final report, which is expected to be presented in April 2022. Minister Grange says previously unexplored areas of the site, such as Fort James and Fort Carlisle, are included in the exercise. This is happening as the Culture Ministry prepares for the nomination for UNESCO designation of the sunken city of Port Royal. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
The Cannabis Licensing Authority is committed to supporting the creation of a regulatory framework for the growth and sustainability of Jamaica's medical cannabis industry. We carefully assess application forms for businesses and individuals interested in becoming partners in the industry. Along with other ministries, departments of government and agencies, the authority endeavors to preserve the integrity of the industry through compliance. This is all done to ensure that the industry is operating in conformity with Jamaica's international obligations. Call or visit our website to find out more about the work of the Cannabis Licensing Authority.
Many Jamaicans are taking on to government's vision of preparing students for life. Our latest meetup is with the founder of STEAM House Network, who's reshaping the idea of STEM to craft an even wider narrative of science, technology, engineering, arts, and maths. Here's how she's doing that.
Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, STEM, a supportive trunk of our island's national standards curriculum, which is strong enough to propel the growth of branches, fueling a better Jamaica. And as if that wasn't enough, our government's creativity expanded to mold the direction of STEM to create STEAM: science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. Right now, I'm about to meet head STEAM maker at the STEAM House, Godiva Golding, to learn about how her initiative is helping government prepare young minds for life beyond the classroom and beyond the curriculum.
STEAM House is a learning hub for science, technology, engineering, art, and math, more commonly known as STEAM. We teach integrated approaches to robotics and coding that allow students to actually solve real-world problems. So we do this through, again, coding and robotics education, and taking them through the process of exploring, imagining, and then making. At the end of STEAM House programs, you will always end up with some sort of end product, whether that be a game, be a prototype, or some web app that you can share with your family and friends. And we center all of this around project-based learning, because project-based learning is what is going to help students to build their problem-solving skills, critical thinking skills, and also help them to channel their creativity.
So I know you might be wondering, why was STEAM House created and what is the target audience? Here's the answer.
So STEAM House was created with the vision of preparing students for this digital world that is increasingly about artificial intelligence, about technologies, about data, is about computers. So there are a number of ways that we engage students in our programming. One way is our Block to Basics flagship course, which is a 2-month introduction to coding for children. The second way is through our summer camps, as well as ongoing STEAM camps that students can opt into, as well as our STEAM Maker Club. And the final thing, for especially foundations and organizations who are looking to build the skill set in their community, we have our Tinker workshops. So this is actually one of those workshops that students will be able to come in, have a hands-on experience with electronics, with coding, and build something that solves a problem in their community.
As you heard earlier, STEAM Maker has many programs that cater to the unique needs of its participants. Right now, we're witnessing firsthand the STEAM Maker Hour, done in collaboration with the Jamaica Library Service.
So this initiative, which is done with the St. Catherine Parish Library Network, is one hour per week coding course that students can actually take. And this is free of charge. But we do have paid programs that students can opt into that go and teach them the basics of not just coding and robotics, but also helps them to go really deep in building their problem-solving skills, because we take them through an entire process of starting out with an idea and having that idea turn into reality. We have had students who come through our programs who have built games to cheer you up during COVID. They've been games that help students to learn math. They've built games that, fire rocket ships. They've built remade Mario games. They've built things like motion-activated hand sanitizers, sort of like the ones that we see now in the supermarkets when we go in.
We're really very excited about this initiative at the library. Coding fuels the digital age, and it also encourages critical thinking. And that is one of the main aims that we have here at the library, along with the other programs and services that we have that include online learning and also online research.
As you can see, this intricate and purposeful entanglement of the sciences and arts is helping to create more multifunctioning and creative minds. STEAM is no longer just vapor from heated water. It's science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics, a requisite tool in today's highly technological and multifunctioning world.
We need trees if we are to be able to live on this planet. So I want to encourage you to join and partner with the My Tree Legacy Promotion and support your alma mater. For me, St. Peter and Paul, Campion College, University of West Indies, roll out and plant some trees.
Register your alma mater for the Forestry Department's My Tree Legacy promotion and be a part of the preservation of Jamaica, land we love. Let us highlight your contribution. Submit videos or pictures of you leaving your mark. Every tree counts. Plant a tree today and keep climate change away.
In the midst of all the hustle and bustle that generally characterizes downtown Kingston, it's quite possibly an escape for many, an epicenter of colors, talent, and definitely an unforgettable beauty. The biggest takeaway from all of this is that these were created by our very own Jamaicans. Here's Arts page, Kingston Creatives.
After getting your fresh produce at the Coronation Market, make your way through the busy and bustling streets of downtown Kingston to the edge of the 7th largest natural harbor in the world. What you'll find is an art haven of bright, beautiful, breathtaking murals. Welcome to the Arts page. You're in for a visual treat. Art has the power to revive, and through this, the once abandoned-looking buildings in downtown Kingston now don freshly painted murals, transforming the area into an artistic hub abuzz with admirers.
My mural depicts a representation of children in the inner city or from inner city communities that face challenging circumstances such as poverty, single parenting, and this shrunken ability to make positive decisions or choices. With that, the mural also depicts through the use of bright colors and the use of playful organic shapes and lines. It depicts this sense of hope and possibilities for change.
My mural is the big green mural with the women and the mushrooms. It's really about sexual coercion and sexual harassment and how these incidents can have long-lasting effects on women as they go through their lives. I kind of show that the idea with the mushrooms and how the mushrooms growing from them are like a parasite and how these issues can affect them.
Ubuntu, I am because we are. This is what I chose to depict for my new mural for Water Lane, and it really just shows the contrast and complement of Jamaica and Africa. So this mural, I wanted to show the difference just between, I guess, our mindset of how we see ourselves and who we were really called to be. So it shows your man and woman, which is your king and your queen, and then also a woman with the baby at her breast, epitomizing just the strength of a woman, and with the basket on her head, a bucket or basket of water. So water is life, woman being the life giver. But it shows even more, the great blue mountains, quote unquote, that's Jamaica, the highest peak. It goes further up, the giraffe, which most people know by now is my spirit animal, but it's also a gentle giant.
What we're trying to do is to remove that stigma and help us to see the beauty of downtown. Downtown Kingston is very, very special. It has a lot of assets through its heritage, its history.
Transforming and rebranding downtown Kingston is the mission of Kingston Creatives, a non-profit arts organization.
We're founded in about 2017, and we're really centered around creative people. So our theory is that if you can empower the amount of creative people we have in Jamaica and enable them to succeed, they will then in turn employ people from their families, their communities, and together we'll get, growth in our creative economy. We'll have a healthy creative ecosystem.
You can take a stroll down Water Lane to fully experience, grasp, and get lost in the stories on the wall.
So we've partnered with the KSAC and with the Tourism Enhancement Fund and the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport. And we're developing this walkway that goes east-west. It connects our National Gallery on Orange Street, and then you walk along Water Lane and it connects you back with our museums that are on East Street. So it's a natural progression. We used to just walk up and down this lane as we're going on our art walk. And then we started talking to the owners and creating these murals. And now we have about 65 new murals in downtown that we've created since 2018.
Artists and other creatives can also benefit from a creative hub and other initiatives. This includes the recently concluded Catapult program, an emergency grant for creatives.
It allowed creatives to go on an artist residency for 2 months and they were paid $3,000 US. It allowed them to put their work online and they're paid $500 US. It really was a process of giving creatives grants so they could continue creating during the pandemic. We reached over 1,210 creatives in 26 different countries across the region with this partnership with the American Friends of Jamaica. It was our biggest grant to date. We've just signed a $1.295 million US partnership with the IDB. This is a 3-year partnership to explore what happens at the intersection of creativity and technology.
Kingston Creatives is also a new member of the Global Cultural Districts Network and is listed among others such as Paris, London, and Dubai. Thanks to the efforts and partnership of Kingston Creatives, downtown Kingston is well on its way to become a vibrant art district and a space for people to really enjoy our rich culture.
To properly carry out a hand rub, apply a palmful of the product in your cupped hand, covering all surfaces. Rub your hands palm to palm. Rub your right palm over the back of your left hand with interlaced fingers and vice versa. Rub your hands palm to palm with fingers interlaced. Rub the back of your fingers to opposing palms with fingers interlocked. Rotationally rub backwards and forwards the clasped fingers of your right hand in your left palm and vice versa. Once your hands are dry, they are now safe.
We make space on the journey for some waste management initiatives. From organic to recyclable and solid waste, here's how you can properly dispose of any type of waste.
Well, lunch was good. Sorry you missed it, but I want to point out how much waste I created from just 30 minutes of eating. I have this empty water bottle, well, almost empty, a lunch box. I have napkins, a fork, and I have some leftovers. So far, I've created organic, recyclable, and solid waste. Other types of waste include hazardous and liquid. Let's go ahead and break them down while looking on how to dispose of each. Let's start with organic waste. Organic waste is any material that is biodegradable and comes from either a plant or an animal. Examples include paper, leftover food, leaves, branches, and livestock manure. Over time, organic waste eventually breaks down into fertilizer, but not if it goes to the landfill. That's not good. There it will produce methane, and high levels of methane can reduce the amount of oxygen in the air, which will affect our breathing. So, where should it go? Organic waste shouldn't go into your bin. Take it round a back and start a composting heap.
We believe that composting provides an excellent opportunity.
Composting is rather simple. Cut the bottom from a container and place it directly on the ground in a cool or shaded location in your backyard.
First, we start with some grass from the lawn. I have some cardboard that I bought some things at the store and I got. This is cardboard. So I just cut it up and I throw it in.
Then add wood chips, fruits and vegetable waste, and animal waste from your cows or goats.
You need moisture, you need air.
Keep your compost moist and stir it regularly.
More.
We would produce the best soil nutrients for our flower beds, our farms, our little kitchen gardens. we will then be cutting back on expensive buying fertilizer.
Liquid waste includes fluids such as domestic wastewater, sewage, processed water, grease, or other liquids. Wastewater from doing the dishes, laundry, and showering are considered grey water and can be used in your garden. Hazardous waste can be liquid or solid. It includes all types of rubbish that are flammable, toxic, corrosive, and reactive. First things first, don't throw hazardous waste, whether liquid or solid, in your bin. Follow the labels on hazardous products for disposal instructions and buy the exact amount that you need. So if you use all of it, you really don't have any waste. You can flush some hazardous household wastes followed by plenty of water. This only applies, though, to hazardous household waste that can be neutralized by water. And when in doubt, reach out to the NSWMA. Solid waste is any tangible item that has already served its primary purpose and is discarded by individuals. This type of waste is commonly broken down into plastic, paper, metals, tins, ceramics, and glass. The good news is that most of the solid waste we create are recyclable and compostable. That's another reason it's important to separate your garbage. This way, you can create a compost heap with your solid organic waste and recycle bottles, furniture, and other solid waste. For those in terrible condition, drop them in your Jomadi and the NSWMA will be there on the double for them. And if you don't have a drum, the NSWMA will provide one under its Jomadi Gate initiative. We're all responsible for the waste we create, and by separating them and practicing proper waste disposal, we'll create a beautiful, safe, and healthy environment, doing our part to make Jamaica the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business.
So I'm here at Cement Company today to look at this landmark mural that is being done by a lead muralist out of Mexico, supported by Jamaican muralists. And this is a collaboration between the government of Jamaica and Cement Company with the support of the Mexican Embassy. This mural will be a landmark, and this is part of our Paint Up Your Creative Space, being led by the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport. This landmark painting, the largest in Jamaica, will be used as a symbol of collaboration of countries working together and creative people working together.
We're always happy to take you through these experiences with Jamaica Magazine, but acknowledging our time constraints, we work to bring you a new magazine every day. So tomorrow promises a new show with even more knowledge and adventure to be had. Remember, you can always visit the JIS YouTube channel, our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter pages for more information. From all of us here at the JIS, I'm Audrey Williams. See you soon.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.